Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this new edition of the morning briefing. Let's get started right away. Just a second while I pull up the chart. Here we are. So let's do a recap of what happened yesterday evening. It was quite a busy day. Anyway, we had it. Let's say, in quotes, somewhat anticipated, that the trend was downward. As a result, besides the macro data, it's also likely a consequence of Trump's interview over the weekend with Fox News. In short, all this in short triggered a series of linked events that have caused the market to go down a lot. Just think that yesterday Tesla lost approximately 15%. So performance, absolutely. In terms of respect, they have been very heavy. The American stock markets, the American indices have broken through important levels, reaching equally significant levels that it will be crucial to understand if and how they will withstand any further downward pressures that could definitely arise. Because while it's true that yesterday there was, at the close, there was a bit of a recovery, then at the opening, from midnight, there was immediately a new bearish attack with new lows recorded during the night, only to recover a little bit afterwards. The closing levels from yesterday. The situation, it's worrying. Volatility, visibility is very high. The VIX had reached 32. So we are traveling on very high levels of volatility and volumes. And therefore, obviously, the movements are widening. They are expanding. Rarely do we see success. Like we might on Monday, the weekly levels were at risk. They have basically held their ground. We're still within the weekly levels, but so everything on Monday, it's rare to see it, to find something like this. We have to go back to August 5th. So I mentioned this yesterday in the morning briefing after giving a brief recap of what happened yesterday. Let's take a look at what we can expect today. Today, there's only the data on new jobs shortly after the opening. So basically, there aren't any major macro data. Let's take a look at this a bit. We'll keep this one here, and then, I'll present it to you later as soon as it's ready. I'm testing this new indicator that basically acts as an assistant. For the strategy, it gives you a bit of guidance. If you're going short, go long, based on what the strategy was regarding the levels. But I still have work to do, so don't pressure me. That said, then we were saying, for the Nasdaq, the situation is quite compromised. Let's take a look at it. For a moment, maybe on a broader time frame, like the 4-hour chart. I showed it in the chat. There was this nice pattern, right at the highs that broke. So we are headed towards this. Further important support, which absolutely in short, we should try to hold that of 18 and 6. There's still a long way to go, there's a lot of space. But I think this is one of those important levels for the Nasdaq that we need to hold and see how we get there. At the moment, the situation for the daily chart was saying after this drop, it's right at the opening. So there has been this recovery. At the moment, we're working just above the levels. BC3 of today's session while waiting for the formation of the other BC3 levels. But basically, we are below the last high made last night at the close. So this is the area to monitor between RD0 and RD1. A potential break of this area could definitely lead to a price recovery, considering the volatility in the VIX area. From here, a new bearish leg could start, or maybe it won't even find the strength to break these levels and will aim directly for a rebound. We'll see, as usual, we act based on what we have in front of us. At the moment, this is the situation. It's 9:10 in the morning in Italy, so, it's still pretty early. The European markets just opened. Again, there's the whole day ahead. This is the situation you see tonight. We touched S2, so it's probably between RD1 and SD2. For now, it remains in range. A violation of RD2 would certainly, in my opinion, give rise to an easy recovery of the VIX area. We'll see, if that happens. Let's take a look. You see, this is the indicator that I was telling you about that here. Plots the levels by inserting the string. I'll just show you. Quickly, you enter the string. Summed up, it's of the values, and then it automatically tells us if it assists us in applying the strategy, and maybe it can be helpful for those who still haven't mastered it, as it can provide some guidance. Thanks for the extra hint, but I repeat, well, again, it's still in the early stages. I still need to work on it. Okay, let's move on to the analysis of S. As we said, Dande, here are the levels. Basically, a similar situation. We're right here at the highs. There's already an attempt on S in these early morning hours, an attempt to break the highs from last night. So around 5,640, roughly 5,640. So a break of these could definitely give a bullish push. Wait, I see like a mess of these levels. I must have made some mistakes. Just hold on for a moment. Here it is. I understood that it happened 500. The second only that I recharged the string, which I believe I made some mistakes in the loading. Let's see if it's right or completely wrong. Okay, here it is. I was saying we're right up against of RT0, which roughly corresponds to this area of highs recorded with the last push. Just stop, in the last hour of trading. So we'll see if it's still early. So to hope for a bit of recovery is definitely on the table given the big drop yesterday. So it's a day that might, be suitable for that. So a bounce in an attempt to recover more important levels, like, for example, such as the area around 5.660, 5.670. In short, this whole area here of recovery to be important. So a break of RD2 would certainly give a recovery of higher levels even, and something, but as always, we have to wait. At the moment, there is a bit of push. There is a bit of recovery verve. After yesterday's drop, however, it's still too early to say that the decline is over. Let's take a look at the others. American indices. Let's start with the Dow Jones. Dow Jones, which also, has taken a hit as well. Because, the day has been quite heavy. A little bit on all the indices, and then we'll also look at the commodities. So at the moment, it has recovered a little bit. We're also working right here on, the peak of this swing, from the strong bounce that happened yesterday and then held overnight with a double bottom. So a break of this level could definitely lead to the recovery of the area of Vincenzo of the day. VIX Deport and 1D Max end of the day. This for sure, but this is the area to monitor. Obviously, holding this area could easily lead to new tests of the lows recorded even last night. Let's take a look at the Russell. A more vigorous Pellino. It has recovered as well. The Nasdaq is the one that's taking a bit more of a hit. In the lead, probably due to the colorful debacle of many of the MAG7. So some magnificent things that, in short, yesterday they got a beating. In short, a pretty substantial one even for the boss. So for the RAS, the analytical situation shows this double bottom formed last night. We're really right on the edge. Let's say RD1 represents a bit the pivot area, which then reflects all these lows here. So obviously a break of this area, it will definitely give a push. More significant, more towards. So that was the peak of today. We will see. As always, we operate based on what we have in front of us. Let's take a look at the DAX. It just opened a little while ago. It's been about a quarter of an hour since it opened. We're working above the RDU levels. And the BC3 levels are right near RD1, which basically represents this nail a bit. done yesterday throughout the morning with some volumes. Then, well, the rest of the day saw a further drop, but it wasn't accompanied by the same volume as in the morning, so these levels were quickly recovered. The struggle is here also, between RD1 and RD2. I feel like saying, well, that this is the area to watch for the current break. Pulse. All right, let's move on to oil. Also, oil. Yesterday, well, it dropped quite a bit. Last night, it hit 65.30 for a moment. Then it recovered with a nice bullish swing. Here too, well, the situation is a bit, as we were saying, a decline, well, with consistently lower highs and lows. But there's not really a push of that kind, to make it happen, to get the price lower. As I always say, there are factors here that influence things which go beyond just the purely technical aspects. So, well, let's keep an eye on this area between SD1 and RD1, which could easily be the daily range within which we might operate in swing. Of course, well, a breakout from either side could give, targets that are, well, then the VIX areas when the highs and lows. Okay. Let's take a look at them, which I was expecting yesterday. So a recovery more towards the upper part instead has broken downwards. It really touched the lower part of that wider range we've seen in the past few days. It touched it, well, it recovered, well, since last night, well. Good morning, everyone. Made a recovery to get back into that range. Basically, from the last few days, we can start from March 4th. Do you see how we're coming back in? So probably this false move, the height, and this return could catapult the price. Oh, thank God. Let's talk about the opposite side of the range that we've been monitoring for a week now. Okay. That said, I wanted to show you this NVIDIA chart that was posted when the earnings came out, and it's still valid. I haven't touched anything. All the targets we had indicated are right here at 105. A target we had indicated after this area, is definitely something to keep an eye on. A break of this area would definitely give further bearish pushes, even down to 95, if not even 92 or 90. This chart was nice, and I had it saved, so I wanted to share it with you. It's right to bring it up again. As for the indexes, well, we don't look at them often because, well, they are mirror images. Then on to the futures, which I follow more closely, as you well know. But basically, these are the levels we're looking at. The new indicator works on these as well, and this is what happened yesterday. In short, good indications. In short, it accompanies a little bit what is the logic of the strategy. And so, as I was saying, for those who are just starting to use it, it will definitely be helpful. With that, I say goodbye, and remember, as I mentioned, maximum caution, volatility is high, the direction is always sudden, so maximum attention, maximum caution. We'll catch up later in the chat. Thanks everyone for your attention, and happy trading day to all.